Thanks for joining us.
Talkline Network Radio, America's longest-running Jewish broadcast network, the voice of the Jewish community.
Welcome to the podcast. You are now tuned in to this episode of our podcast. Today, we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field. And now, please welcome your host.
You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And we are back. You know, Brooklyn is a melting pot of different ethnic groups working together, and the Chinese community is working together with the Jewish community. And we're speaking with Councilwoman Susan Zhuang, conservative Democrat, who ran 2023, took office 2024, and her district includes Sunset Park and Dyker Heights, Bensonhurst, Bath Beach, Gravesend, Borough Park, and other neighborhoods in southern Brooklyn. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. So I know that you have a large concentration of Chinese Americans, but you have a fair amount of Jewish constituents, especially parts of Borough Park and Bensonhurst. So tell us about your relationship with the Jewish community. I know you work very closely with the Jewish community.
Yes, I always be the voice for the immigrant community, not only just the Chinese, but also Jewish community. When our Jewish constituents have issues, they always come to my office. No matter it's a hate crime against our Jewish neighbors or just simply a ticket get from sanitation, they always come to me. Recently, I also introduced a bill, ask sanitation to do a study based on religion, because a lot of my Jewish neighbors get tickets before Shabbos or after Shabbos because they take out the garbage earlier. I don't think our city should penalize anyone to give them a ticket because simply because their religion, they have take out the garbage earlier. And you know what I did? I made a list of every single Jewish family house in my district, and I sent to sanitation and tell them, look, this is the people observed for Shabbos. Make sure you guys do not write ticket because they take out the garbage earlier. Things can be little and the things can be big. Come to the anti-Semitism, I always outspoken against all the hate because I came from a community also experienced a lot of hate, especially during COVID time. I believe the hate against one is a hate against all of us. Only when we stand for each other, have each other back, we're able to fight against those nonsense and make sure everyone feels safe, everyone get cared in our community.
No, it's very important. By the way, with the sanitation issue, I'm glad to hear you're not taking any garbage from them when it comes to this issue. It's very, very important that what's been their response to not ticketing Jewish households because of the Sabbath, because of Shabbos?
They have been personally said to me they will make sure not happen in my district, but for the bigger picture, we want to make sure all the Jewish neighbors live in New York City should not be penalized only because their religion. They have to take out the garbage early on Fridays.
Yeah. Now, you're working with other Jewish city council members or assembly members on some issues?
Yes, definitely. And in the state, assembly member,
but Simcha Eichenstein in Borough Park?
Yes, he also introduced the bill in state, but I think we have to do more in New York City because most of people live in New York City.
Right, and this is an issue that's just citywide, but Brooklyn has a very large Jewish population. I think it's about 25% of the population in Brooklyn is Jewish. So it's important that this issue be part of it. Another issue that I know that people are upset about is, I don't know why, but they're trying to put a homeless shelter in the area, which I know is upsetting to the Chinese community, to the Jewish community, others that feel, why in my backyard are they putting a homeless shelter?
I think the people upset about the homeless shelter, it's not about against homeless people. We, in our culture, we always want to take care of our neighbors. But the reality is why our government spend a lot of taxpayers' money to not invest in more affordable housing, but build like temporary shelters, which is human warehouse, not able to really help anyone. When we have the issue about homeless, the government should create more jobs, give more job training. And if the people has mental health issue, we need to take those people to mental health issue facility, hospital or somewhere, to take care of them first before put them in the streets. Now this public safety is the biggest issue in New York City. Everyone worried my kids, I worried they're going to school safe. Will they get hit by scooters? Or my husband take a train to work. Well, the train is safe. It's all type of safety issues people's concerned. It's not about homeless people. It's about how the government spend the resources, how the government invest in the community, how our government able to help more people.
Well, that's true, but you are opposed to the homeless shelters, as others are. They feel, why in this community there are no safeguards? You have other areas with homeless shelters. They're out in the streets menacing people. It's a big issue.
Yeah.
And so you're opposed to the shelter, not because we're against homeless people, against having the shelter, because of the problems that it brings to a community.
Yes.
Listen, the Chinese community is very family-oriented. The Jewish community, Hispanic community is very family-oriented. And you want to be able to walk down the street safely, and this is a safety issue.
Exactly. And also the city want to plan a homeless shelter in my area without consulting the community, without talking to anyone. And they want to put a 150 single man with mental illness next to 5 schools and next to religious organizations, next to senior centers. This is how that block about. And they want to put a 150 single man with mental illness. I don't think that's the right place to put that shelter.
So how is that battle coming along? What is the city telling you?
Now we see everything is on hold, and our people still protesting there. It's over 300 days. But we did not hear a definite no from City Hall. But I'm working close with our community to make sure they're not going to bring those unsafe shelters to our neighborhood. This is a public safety issue.
Now, in the mayoral race, we know it's a crowded field, and obviously every candidate will have a different perspective regarding the homeless shelters. I believe that you have spoken to Andrew Cuomo about it?
Yes, he gave the community assurance if he get elected, the shelter issue should be addressed. We need to really bring the health to community, and also when we want to plan a shelter anywhere, we should consult with the community first. We want someone able to talk to us, address the issue, and then everyone here to help. We want to resolve this issue in New York City.
Well, it's an important issue. Now, this is Jewish Heritage Month, all through the month of May, and I understand you had a large street festival which incorporated Jewish heritage and as far as your community, the Chinese community as well?
Yes, we May 4th. This is the second time we are doing that. We have the Jewish and the Asian Heritage Month celebrate together. You can see in the event a lot of kids that are Jewish, they're Chinese, they dance together, make a graphic together. I think that's the beauty of the community. Bring the love to the community is my goal. And everyone working together and have each other's back, understand each other's culture. This is something we need to bring to New York City. This is the melting pot. If everyone understands each other, love each other, then we have less hate in the city.
Does that mean you had glot kosher Chinese food at this event?
Yes, yes.
You know, Jews love Chinese food. I mean,
yes. And I was talking to Mark Traeger, CEO of JCRC. I said, this year I want to do a kosher Chinese food for Christmas because we can bring everyone together. I believe always the food is part of the culture. And if we want to understand each other, probably we start with food.
So, Susan, here is the toughest question of the interview so far.
Sure.
Speaking of food, you have to go to a lot of different ethnic events, including the Jewish community. What is your favorite Jewish food? Put the Chinese food on the side. Your favorite Jewish food when you go to these events in the Jewish community?
I think I like the bagel the most.
I told you it's the toughest question of the interview. Okay.
I love the bagel the most because I understand the culture, why Jewish create a bagel, because the Jewish community had a tough time in certain time of period. They prohibited Jew to fried food. So that actually is a really touching story for myself. Our family also came from a history, have to fight for your rights. And also, I want to share a personal story.
Sure.
My kids go to Russian Jewish daycare. She pick up Russian and understand the Jewish culture before she pick up Chinese and English.
That's very funny. Does she pick up Yiddish also?
That she have to work on. And then now they are going to the after school program, also run by Jewish organization. One day when I picked them up, they are having bread in their hand. I said, you didn't finish your lunch in school? They said, no, mommy, you don't know today is Shabbos. We are eating bread to celebrate. So I think that's the beauty of New York City. Everyone celebrate for each other, understand each other, and working together. That's the culture we want to bring to the community.
No, it's very important. And the fact is also is that there's so many issues, anti-Semitism, the discrimination against Chinese and other groups here in the United States, in the New York area. We have to fight against it. And I know that in Brooklyn, even the Democrats are more conservative. How do you deal with some of the more woke colleagues in the city council?
Well, I always say I have open door policy, but I'm not going to tolerate anything crazy. I'm not tolerate any idea. Think Hamas is a hero. This is terrible. And for me, I also, for my district, I always allocate funding for a lot of Jewish patrolling groups in the community. I want to make sure no matter where you're coming from, always feel safe. And also, I always working with everyone, no matter you are Democrat or Republican or independent. I think we have to work everyone and make sure they understand our Jewish culture, understand our Jewish community, stand up for the issues we all care about. Anti-Semitism should have no place in New York City.
Absolutely. By the way, are there any or a community of Chinese Jews in this area?
Yes, actually, we have Chinese Jews in our area. And the other thing I want to share with you, when October 7th thing the tragic happened, there's a Chinese person married with a Jewish husband is Jewish, have experienced a lot of trauma, and they came to our community to talk to us why it's important for people to stand up, speak up for Jewish community against what happened October 7th.
Has you had any issues with demonstrations in your area? Because you have parts of Borough Park and Bensonhurst, some Jewish areas. Have you had any problems with pro-Hamas demonstrations in your area?
I always doing a lot of prevention work beforehand. We haven't seen that, but I did worry about our Jewish and Asian Heritage Month celebration. We asked of NYPD to get extra security for the event. So far went well. I definitely want to make sure our Jewish families feel safe in our area.
Council member Susan Zhuang, thank you for being with us. Thank you for your friendship with the Jewish community. Look forward to working together. And it's great to keep those bonds open. And let's see more glad kosher Chinese food.
Definitely.
At some of these meetings, the city council should convert to kosher.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for tuning in to
Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast, the pulse beat of the Jewish community.
Okay.
For continuous Jewish programs, TalklineNetwork.com, or our 24-hour-a-day listen line at 641-741-0389. For past shows, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Instagram, and all major podcast platforms, or jewishpodcast.org. Thanks for listening to the TalklineNetwork.com.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.